Waiswa Mufumbiro, deputy spokesperson wa National Unity Platform, agamba nti Mpuuga was found deceitful. Takkiriza nti Mpuuga agenda koma mu NUP.
Come out and apologize and then he can be reinstated in his position.
No. He has been found deceitful.
Mathias Mpuuga has been found deceitful, getting it from the deputy spokesperson of the party.
N'ensonga endala ayongedde okubeera nga ate akakasa nti NUP bayeekera bawedde emirimu naye obuyeekera bwa NUP naddala ng'ekulemberwa Bobi Wine buyeekera bwe bakolera mu suuti.
But we have said that we are working day and night to overthrow you. Where have you been? I found the document and they are giving it as intelligence. Really? I have been on platforms with the spokesperson of the military and I've clearly told him our business is to leave you for you goons to leave our country.
So it's not news.
It's not news. And then somebody is bringing it as an intelligence brief.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
Very glad to be here on Mordecai Marissa TV.
Ogamba otya okansubira nti oli bulungi nze Mordecai Marissa. Nkwebaza yonna gy'osinzira okubeera ng'owuliriza emboozi zange zengabana nawe ku mikutu gyange gimunayiza wala social media platforms. Weebale nnyo, weebalire ddala. Ku YouTube channel, ndowooza twaweza 1,110 tuddukira ku speed. Target ya 2,200. Go on and subscribe. Liking a video enoteekako endowooza ate era bw'ogisaamu omulamwa gigabane n'emikwano gy'olineeyo n'abantu owangaliramu abantu sekinomu ne groups abamu muli mu chat groups nga eza WhatsApp. Teekamu link obagambe balabe conversation then tukubaganya ebirowoozo. Nja kuyitayo mpite mu comment sections ezo abaana bataddeko endowooza mbuulira gy'osinziira. Well, I love having these conversations and I welcome everyone. Neboba NRM gandi agadde okunyumya nange. It's fine. We can have a conversation. Teteekeddwa okubeera nga tukanya buli kaseera, but I believe we should have conversations. Museveni ayina ekintu kyatadde mu bannansi. It is the Musevenism I usually talk about is fear for debate. You know, people do not want to even have a discussion. Ne baba NRM tebagala kubaganya birowoozo ku NRM yaabwe. It is very wrong. So we have to have the ability to have conversations. Well, when natuula mu convention yali Chicago mu mwezi ogw'omunaana natuula n'abantu ab'enjawulo nga interview gye nakuzanyira eya President Bobi Wine bw'oba tewagiraba nkusaba okugenda ku mukutu gwange ogwa YouTube waliwo interview osobola okubeera ng'ogiraba n'abalabe natuula nabo ye Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro bwe twayogerera ebintu bingi nnyo. Ntogera kalulu aka mwaka 2026 akajje Uganda twayogera ku bintu bya Museveni byayogera nti aba NUP bayeekera nagamba ituli bayeekera teyakoma okwo yayogera ku nsonga eza Mathias Mpuuga agamba nti ayagala kubeera nga akubaganya ebirowoozo ne President Bobi Wine debate asaba debate oluvannyuma lw'okubeera suspended mu kibiina kyentegeddeko nti tena suspension doza yali dismissal. Yayogera ku nsonga ey'okugaba card naddala abo abantu abalabisenga abalwanyisa NUP President Bobi Wine omuli ba Mathias Mpuuga naye nnyini Mathias Mpuuga ne Abedi Bwanika n'abalala bakagabo yakuona kweyo ensonga. Twayogera ku bintu gamba ng'okuyita mwami Museveni nakyemalira wedde emirimu is a dictator. Twagenda maaso n'abeera ng'amenya ebintu ebikola Museveni ebyoleka Museveni nti nakyemalira wedde emirimu dictator. Yayogera kweyo ensonga. Twayogera ku nsonga mu biseera bye yali mu ddiire yali etambula ey'okugula bannakatemba babawa ensimbi okubeera nga babakyusa endowoozo okubeera nga bava ku mulamwa ogw'okulwanirira okwenunula oba amenunula gaffe nga bannansi abali mu bufuzi bwa musibira mu bbwa Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Bino n'ebirala bye twakubaganyako ebirowoozo. Nja kuleka okubeera ng'olaba interview eno ejja kubeera nga ekunyumira. Then nga wali awasemba tenja kubeera nga nzija nyongera okubeera nga nteekako akazigo bwe bakayita sugar coating kubanga nzikanya ne byayogera ndi one national platform wa people power. So nja kuleka obeere ng'olaba ate tweyongereyo.
Thank you so much once again. My name is Mordecai Marissa and I do really appreciate you so much for keeping your eyes on this YouTube channel. What I've got to do is silence this phone. Tugenda kwesa ennimi bbiri ndina omukulu ateetaaga introduction, the one and only Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro. Welcome to my show.
I'm very humbled to be here with you this by time this afternoon.
Absolutely.
I'm very glad to be here this afternoon.
Yeah.
And as an ardent follower of most of your programs, I'm humbled to share the platform.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm meeting you in the USA because of the fact that we cannot meet in Uganda. Do you think there's some sort of contribution with Yetukola? I mean, we use our platforms to spread the message of the gospel of change. Is there any sort of contribution, Joe?
Yeah, of course, there's a lot of contribution that you're making for the enhancement of the revolution and liberation of Uganda. First of all, for you to live in this first world economy and country, a dreamland for all of us and many of other people all over the world, and you can still focus on the growth of your what is happening back home. I think it is a plus by itself, and adding a voice with your experience and professionalism to the touch that is now a luxury in Uganda in terms of the journalism that we grew up to is now bedridden. Mm-hmm. So for you, Mutkai, to be here in a conducive, comfortable environment, but then understand that there's a lot of plight back home, I think it is a plus. It is a motivation in itself. And also to have that independence that you have exhibited in the way of espoused a number of issues is not that usual. And many of your colleagues in the diaspora, sometimes we've been critiqued of the stances we have taken, and you have come out quite thoroughly well in presentation of where you think the direction should be. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. Absolutely. But it's comforting when you're back home and then there are people who have voices outside the precincts of us on the front line, and they're also doing a great job. So yes, you are doing a great job, and then your platforms, of course, further the message. You cannot believe how much motivated I feel whenever I see your videos.
Oh, thank you.
As you appreciate me, I also appreciate you. So because this is our nation, we all have fenatu ino mugabo gwegumu.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So muntu ali eno nga amanyi siyaji ne bata bwawoma okulowooza ku muntu waffe omulwadde wa kansa asula wansi n'afa nga tasobodde kulaba musawo, naye nga abasawo bali mu kwekalakaasa nga palamenti yeesazeewo ssente z'okuwa abasawo bayiga obusawo ezitulemu mu nkiiko ng'ate yayisa ssente ez'okutuuza palamenti omwaka mulamba. Kubanga singa babadde batugamba nti tebaayisa ssente accountability ya kulaninga palamenti omwaka mulamba, teyinza kubanga ate bakeera ku makya ne bafuna ezo ssente ziva ku vote ki misuse of funds. Naye ekibuuzo kiri kyombuziza kibadde nti tulina kyetukola kugaa n'ennambulula nti mukolera ddala omulimu gw'amaanyi. Abafandinga embeerawo ya gavumenti mu nsi ezitannakulaakulana, in fact ensi ennyingi nnyo zibeera funded by countries like America, the superpowers. Mwabawangaalirayo muba n'eddoboozi lya mwanjo nnyo ku bakulembeze b'amawanga ago, so era muyambye nnyo sanctions ezoogerwako ebintu bingi tuyinza okubitandika naye mukumye omuliro ogumala nga tera mukozesa platforms zammwe, because now this is a digital world. Yeah. What you say cuts across all over the world.
So that means if there's a kid somewhere nga alina essimu ye, they're holding a weapon they can use to bring about change.
Yes, that's the modern weapon. Yes, that's a weapon. And thank God of our generation, our visionary generational leader. He told the world before. The first thing he did was to protest against the internet tax. And everybody was like, you know, this guy, people talk about hospitals, he's fighting for internet. You know, abatalina kulabira wala nakati abamu basanga nga minister n'agamba yali ku bya internet, omusolo gwaki gwa internet lero bagujjawo, n'ekyo kikulaga omukulembeze gw'olina nti ali visionary.
Yes.
So when a digital world, definitely there's no stronger weapon than your phones, than the camera.
We have had people who have done what we've done, like who use their social media platforms, who use their talents. Sometimes I use my poetry, my speech and stuff. To
I love your poetry.
Yeah, and it me.
Yeah, Madame Noblin, yali she was my English literature teacher, and she was the former deputy headmistress of Makerere College. I think after her, you come next. My dear, you are marvelous.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're marvelous. I envy your abilities in that.
And I think one of the
you should write me a poem and teach me how.
Absolutely. One of them actually led Mohozi to block me immediately from his.
He's a coward. He's a coward.
So I've been talking about people who use their talents and to communicate, and we've seen some of them use their talent, but in a blink of an eye, they are compromised, they're bought. We have a very recent story that you've been following of our brothers. I don't know how true that is, but I've heard about Bizonto. And to mention that, I mean, it's a myriad of talents that have been compromised. Don't you think, what would be your message to these people who forfeit the beauty of their talent only to be given peanuts?
I even doubt they're given the peanuts. They are duped. You see, for a long time I have, and I wish this communication people understand me, they are being conned to be, to lose the trust of the people. I'm yet to know more about it, but if you want to listen to a critique, then why would you invite his nemesis in a room? It means you're going to put the value down. It means that is a con. You know, you're conned into subjugation. And it is very unfortunate for a state to con citizenry into subjugation. That is also a vice of a dictatorship. A renowned vice of a dictatorship. And our people, some of them lack exposure. They believe we are still in the world, in the dark world. There are times when many businesses, many things were done before the digital era. Now, everything that is done, there are recordings, these are meetings, and these are cons. So I understand, but we have told our colleagues and comrades in the struggle that this dictator has and will never have will to fall in love with the citizenry at whatever cost. Because if he did, he would first of all listen to what we are saying than silencing the voices. Why would you want to buy out the voice of Waiswa for his stance on health, for his stance on roads, for his stance on corruption? I think that should be the basis and the exposure of our comrades in the struggle to understand the dynamics at which all this is at play. And what would be the interest, what would be the cost analysis for a person supposed to construct a road vis-a-vis silence a voice, even if it is in terms of monetary.
Oh my, yeah.
You know, it does not balance.
Not at all. Yeah.
So, baganda baffe abalina obusobozi n'ebitone babulabe nnyo eri obwannakyemalira. Kati obwannakyemalira buteekamu a lot of effort okukoninga abantu bano mu kubateeka mu nsonda bayingire ekitimba ky'okuba nti bali bawambe, tukiyita political blackmail. Kakati obubonero bwa bwannakyemalira nti gwe weewuunye stories siyinza kuziverifyinga, mbadde extremely busy, but of course as a person heading the communications department of the NUP, I will pick interest in those our colleagues. But what I wanted to say is that if it were true nti omuntu ayagala kugula for your views and what naye olina abantu bobadde olwanagana nabo okumala ebbanga abantu abo nabanga bo bennyini be bali mu meeting
mwagenda okugulira
kitegeeza omuwendo aba agusse oba wagidde kawumbi nosanga wali full figure oba okyali mu kawumbi
kakadde kamu
okitegedde so ekyo kikulaga omutima gw'omuntu oyo bannange omuntu aganye okukola ensi ye ng'abadde asolooza mu bannansi ssente tayinza kukwagaliza kulaakulana kubanga eri enkola ebadde nteeketeeke. For example, bizonto omugagga ne bizonto omwavu ani ayinza okubaawo obulabe?
Bizonto omwavu omugagga, yes, omugagga, of course.
Bizonto omwavu ne bizonto omugagga ani ayinza okuba obulabe?
Omugagga.
Kati lwaki amukkiriza ogaggawala? Era lwaki ye aba alowooza nti ayinza omugaggawaza? Ye aba agenda kumulabisa okumuggyako gali amaanyi, okumwambulula amaanyi.
Isn't that funny? And it's very important how people don't.
But I am yet to get to the that I have been extremely engaged, and I will interact with them. And if it happened, they can come. I think it was a con. If it really happened, they were conned into whatever they did. I will speak to them. If it really happened, they should apologize to the nation and get back on course.
Awesome. In your response to the question, you referred to Mr. Museveni as dictator. Now, I've seen some skeptics and cynics on social media, or call them opportunists and proponents of the regime in Uganda, choosing or critiquing me. You can't call him a dictator. Do you know what dictators do? I usually bring the receipts, of course, starting with the 1986 war. Can you paint the picture of Ugandans out there who do not understand how dictatorial Mr. Museveni is?
First of all, I would love, unfortunately this is not interactive, but I will follow the comments. Can we have examples of dictators? We start with Adolf Hitler. What did Adolf Hitler do? He abducted people, he killed people. Can we give names of the dead? Murdered by this government. Young people, just of recent there was a protest of Ugandans, and they were all banded up by a military operation. It is an illegality for the military to be on home soil.
Yep. Citizens.
It is unconstitutional. Dictators break constitutions. You have all seen the deployment of the military on ground against the citizenry. You are seeing Ugandans being abducted. Of recent, you know, General Museveni has not done them good. Those who stand in the way of his dictatorship, even being seen. Just recently, Achileo Chivumbi, sometimes when we say these names, people do not know the individuals. So they do not, it does not get to them very easily. But now if I talk about people like Achileo Chivumbi, he was abducted, beaten, tortured, dehumanized. His entire dignity embarrassed. Driven to his home in a military Peugeot. Taken into his house. Maligned, beaten in front of his beautiful wife, to make sure that even the little manhood of dignity that he's remaining with, they show that we can, you're nothing. They can torture you in front of your wife, because that is the purpose why they went to his home, to torture him in front of his wife. And then they are not stupid enough to even come with the clumsiest, most bogus statement that somebody who is struggling to overthrow a system can throw pips of the military in the kids' room on the floor. Can you imagine how outrageous that would, even for any person who has a little sane in the mind, to condescend with the the military prosecution that Akileo Kivumbi had pips of the military of lieutenant, general lieutenant, colonel, whatever rank it is, and they were not that important. They were thrown in the kids' room. Really? A fighter going to overthrow a regime takes time, gets in charge of government stores, and then dumps them on the floor of his kids' room.
You can make these things up.
You know?
Yeah, you can.
And muna Uganda kino kanchimunyonyola.
Yabagamba 7 sina chemalira.
Amagye ne gawamba omuntu ne gamukuba ne gamutulugunya okumala ennaku 4. Bwe gamala okumutulugunya, njogera kwa Kireewo Kivumbi, ne gamuvuga ne gamutwala ewaka we, ne gasangawo nga gamututteyo okumutulugunyiza mu maaso gwa mukyala we, n'ekitiibwa ky'obusajja gakole ki? Gakimumalemu. Ne bamutulugunyiza mu maaso ga mukazi we, ne beefuula abalina bye banoonya, nti naye obujulizi bwe basanze obulumika Akireewo Kivumbi obwamuwambisa ennaku 4 emabega, babusanze babusuula mu kisenge ky'abaana wansi. Ekyo omuntu bw'akiwuliriza kikola ensa, era oyo omuntu ali mu nsi eyo aba akwalifayinga kuyitibwa atya. Rita Nabukenya bw'atemulwa, abantu balowooza nti accident. Okuva Rita Nabukenya we yatemulwa ne ku polisi y'e Naguru tewabeza ampuliriza bw'oba omanya akatale k'e Nakawa ne Naguru police station, awo tewawerawo kilometers 3 wadde 2. Waliwo kamera egula $5,000,000 sente z'omusolo mu kutemula Rita Nabukenya kola amasannyalaze gali tegaliiko ku Naguru police headquarters. Sweet Pepsi bamukubanga ensi yonna eraba, n'ebifaananyi ng'atonya olubuko omusaayi biri visible. Nsi ki esobola okuwamba omuntu ku tamak eya airport nga si bannakyemalira? So abantu abagala okuunderstandinga perspective eyanakyemalira, oli ajaga nti gwe nga wooli era olusi mbawulira, naye eri abalwanisa Adolf Hitler ne bamuwangula. They existed.
Absolutely.
Yes. Dictatorship does not mean that every person you know will end up dead. And even how sure are you that in my struggle you know my fate? How sure are you that you know his appetite, that he's starting to eat with? The reason we fight is because this man's appetite grows every day. Yes, the Mzatas are dead, the Cyprian Lwangas are dead, the Rita Nabukenyas are dead, the Dan Cheyune is dead, Sweet Pepsi is dead,
including some of his surrogates like Olexas Isma.
Yes,
surrogates.
Yes. Yeah. So why would I think that his appetite would end on the Mzatas? I would be dumb. Therefore, I should use my abilities when I'm still in charge of the affairs. And secondly, for us who believe in God, we believe this is a calling. Otherwise, we would have stopped. I mean, Mordecai, as I had started earlier, everybody would love to live in the States.
Yeah.
Yes. But on the 20th, I am catching a plane back home.
And now that you mentioned plane, that's why I want you to make a comment. There are folks who think conversions like this do not make any sense. Even when you tell them that, have you read about the American Revolution? The Frenchmen helped these people, they came to America to help the Americans get rid of the British. When they went back, they fought. It's been the modus operandi for revolutions.
Even if, assuming we want to go guerrilla, where would we get the weaponry?
Museveni inclusive of,
There is no revolution that does not need friendship.
Absolutely, yeah.
There is no revolution that does not need partnership. And there is no governance that will isolate a foreign policy. The word foreign policy is not invented by the NUP. It is invented by democracy. So certain people should be forgiven by their abilities to understand certain things. Kubanga, and others will ask you, you're catching flights, but that's a mode of transport. I mean, if you're living in the States, then it is not even fun. People are telling you that I would rather drive for 8 hours.
I do that.
Than burden myself, go to an airport, run for hours in the airport, get fatigued.
I was going to drive here to Chicago. You know, I just had a friend of mine who lives in a small city, and he's like, hey, I've always wanted to do something on your car. She even sent me messages. Hey, I fixed this on your car. If you want to come and stay at my place, it's fine. But I was going to drive.
Yes.
So, our people just myopic or?
No. So, yeah, there are those that are myopic, but I think many of them, and that is why we have had that kind of product as a result of the people in charge of our country. It is exposure, lack of exposure.
That's so true. When the president was giving his speech, he said, he made this statement,
yeah. One time I told you that we were rebels in suits.
Say that again.
One time I told you that we're rebels in suits. We camouflage, but what we are doing, we are against a dictatorship. And just to show you that it's a dictatorship, this morning, US time, as we woke up to a military document. I wonder whether you've read it.
Not yet.
That is highlighting that we are in partnership with foreign powers to overthrow the system. But we have said that we are working day and night to overthrow you. Where have you been? I found the document and they are giving it as intelligence. Really? I have been on platforms with the spokesperson of the military, and I've clearly told him our business is to leave for you goons to leave our country.
So it's not news.
It's not news. And then somebody is bringing it as an intelligence brief on a nation which has trillions of money, giving all bogus statements. You can imagine. I read that document. I said, wait a minute. Is this a debrief of the entire UPDF? Is this how far the commander now in chief and his son are running in the military? To have this as a concept paper discussed, brought into public forum, it was inept, it was incompetent, and after it leaked, they wanted to withdraw it because of the pushback, but then they had already leaked it with the new vision. Because it's not a coordinated government. It's not a coordinated, sometimes you wonder, are we really, is the country being run by people?
We're headed for 2026 elections, and pessimists have always come out to downplay the role of elections. They say Museveni can never be removed by paper. Some of them actually quote him. They say, no one can do it. So the question is, why is NUP headed to these elections? And you could correct some, you could be clear. Is NUP headed to 2026 election? Is it going to participate?
I'm not one person who wants to tell lies. Yes, we will be headed to the 2026 elections as the National Unity Platform. That has been, is the consensus of the nation. I was among those who thought that actually our generational vision bearer should not be involved into the next election. But then, after a lot of consultation, a lot of reading, a lot of personal research, and a lot of understanding the political dynamics, I also understood that first of all, we won the last election. Why would we run out from something we won?
The question will be, if you won and you are not, handed over the presidency.
Then let's work out on how they will hand over the presidency. Yes. If the problem is handing over the presidency, then we cannot blemish the election. The election was won, of course. It was a military operation. It was the worst election, but Ugandans gave the mandate to somebody we all know. Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu is the president of Uganda, duly elected and de facto. So, that notwithstanding, what would happen if we did not participate in the election? The election would still go on. We would have given a platform for idiocracy to go further. For example, without haste, imagine a situation if we decide to pull out our candidate, they will bring their own candidates. They have been doing that for so many years. You know, Bobi Wine has been a protege for the system to be used to spoil the central region for so many times.
No,
you failed at that. But most importantly is the question of whether we will participate or not. The answer is we will participate. We are working around the clock such that the occurrences of that time do not reoccur. But also they are in panic mode. They already want to run away from the election. They feel they should go in parliament in a group of a few and then declare themselves, because they know how much the ground has been mobilized. They know how much we are more powerful than we were in 2021. I can tell you without doubt, there has been a population increment. There are young people who have come up and are now up to the task. You've seen them go on the streets, and the country is on a time bomb. And it is the efforts of making sure that we motivate, we encourage, we build capacity to everybody to take it as the same footing. I believe also more Chagulanyis have been created than we had then. Looking at the dossier of the military, what you would have picked out from is that they agreed that there are many dissenting voices even within government and the military per se. So for me, I want to tell Ugandans that we cannot run away from a constitutional process. Elections are a constitutional process. We are a political organization that is working towards, one, liberating the nation, but also delivering government and delivering direction for a new Uganda. How are we going to participate in delivering a new Uganda when things we want to implement, we are shining away from them? We will participate in the election, whatever, whether bloody, whether fair, whether unfair. Of course, we know it will be unfair if the status quo does not remain, but it is also a platform to rally Ugandans because, you know, right now our president cannot move. We have been stalled. Before we came here, we were supposed to be in Eastern Uganda. When we went to Western Uganda and were phenomenal, they said, wait a minute, this guy is still on ground. You can't allow him to move elsewhere. Now they have brought a report of him, of our president, being in close discussions to overthrow the regime. Of course, it is very, very, as we said earlier, surprising that they have just got wind of that. It has been his duty all through. Of course, with some input of blackmail. So, if you have that platform of an election, you have an opportunity. There will be no COVID. You also have an opportunity to use it to instill the message of liberation, to build the capacity of your people, to organize the masses in whatever you want to organize them with, such that at least at a certain point, when everything is happening, there's that effort that has been driven deliberately towards that goal. So an election also can be a precursor. What we are doing now, Mordecai, is more of, I think the country is boiled to the tip, but that tip, the volcano, you know, the eruption of a mountain is a process. So there's an eruption happening in the mountain, but the outburst of the eruption is what the country is awaiting, and that.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live.
So you said
his former.
You said his former.
His former. You don't even need to apologize. His
former vice president of the National Platform, Mathias Mpuuga.
Former deputy president.
I thought he was going to come out and apologize, and then he can be reinstated in his position.
No. He has been found deceitful.
Mathias Mpuuga has been found deceitful, getting it from the deputy spokesperson of the party. Now, he's coming out to request for a debate between him and the president. And look, when I was on Twitter Space, I thought this was the clowning of the highest level. So, excuse my language. But I do not understand.
Why should I excuse you for facts?
Okay.
I love your language.
Okay. No apologies there. But he said, oh, I want to have a debate with the president. I mean, if you've been caught stealing, how do you then be like, hey, I want to debate? The president asked me, Mordecai, what does he want us to debate about?
Where has he debated before, anyway?
Never. I've never seen him at the debate.
So why would he think that he would go to that weighing scale? You know, lightweight, heavyweight, those are different categories. Probably he should come to where we are. and then we can sort him out. But the president, that's heavyweight. Yeah, we also can't go there. Now I wonder why he's running there.
He's a man who was claimed to have founded the National Unity Platform. So,
yeah, by the mere fact that he thinks he's the founder, that always speaks about how corny he is. Because the day he came to the National Unity Platform, everybody knows. The National Unity Platform had been unveiled.
Abedi Wine is one of them who said...
I really don't want to give those people a lot of time. They are lost sheep.
Oh, yeah. So, what should we expect? Okay, the last question will be, 2026 is coming.
Yeah.
They had the National Unity Platform card. Are they going to be given this card again, or?
I cannot, we do not know. You know, there are systems that give out that card.
Yeah.
And people don't, I've had others doubt the systems, but we have thorough systems that do critical ground analysis. But I am very certain that those that have befallen the ethical grounds and our values as a party will find it a tall order to come back to the rims of our party.
Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro, the deputy spokesperson of the National Unity Platform. Some people define you as radical. He should tone his should tone his voice.
How do you tone? No. How do you? First of all, I am, for those who have interacted with me on a personal basis, I am one of the easiest persons.
Oh yeah, I was going to tell you, I admire your demeanor. It's completely different from what I've seen on TV and radio.
But man, these issues we are discussing on TV is very serious business. It is not business that you would want to macerate. People are dying, people are being abducted, and you cannot afford to play around with that. It is something that we have passion about, and to overthrow the system is something we have passion about. So
are you afraid of your life? What could happen? We've heard what has happened to our comrades. Are you afraid they might abduct you, torture you, kill you?
I am privy to intelligence that I am a candidate for all, and but this is a calling. What do? You take it as day comes. But as the president said, we every day struggle to live.
Hey, I don't know whether you've received a number of people who have said thank you, but I want to say thank you so much for what you do for our country.
I'm very humble.
And thank you so much
for what you do.
Absolutely.
I'm humbled to be here, and I hope we devise means of always having one.
So you're going to tell these people to watch Mordecai Murisa live?
Guys, I'm always watching Mordecai Murisa.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, sina kye nnyongerako okujjako okwebaza okuba nti obaddewo n'olaba interview no yonna biki byolowooza ku bino byakubaganyizaako ebirowoozo, ensonga zaakoonyeeko, abadde bebuuza NUP egenda mu kalulwe egendamu, n'agamba we cannot run away from a constitutional process, and I truly believe olina okukozesa buli mukisa ogukuweebwa ssemateeka bodduka Museveni agenda kuleeta bakatumba oye bw'ogamba togenda kabeeramu. So ensonga NUP egenda kubeeramu kubeera nga yeetaba mwaka akalulu, n'ensonga endala nnyingi zaakoonyeeko ze sigenda kubeera nga nziramu, bagamba adda mu luyimba taluwoomya, obyewuliddeko. Katukola kino, genda mu maaso ne subscription giteekeko ku channel. Wala abantu nalabye abantu abantu abamu balaba ne baganda subscribe nga tuli mu bitundu 38 eby'abantu abalaba naye nga tebali subscribed. Come on. Oli musezi oli mulogo. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Oyongere okubeera ng'ogikuza. Tobeereyo ng'owaana emirimu gy'enkola naye nga toteekako subscription. Ate bw'omala okusubscribinga koona mu kadaako akadde koolabaawo ke bayita notification bell ke kanaakubuulira, bajja kubuulira nga lutunaateekangayo emboozi okere ng'oziraba. Obudde bwe mmala nga nkola bino oyinza okubeera ng'obusima ng'okola ekyo. Kankuleke ate nkwagaliza okubeera obulungi bweraba.
Did you enjoy what you just watched? I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Murisa YouTube channel? Thank you.